Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen progress update for the Persistent Universe. What have the devs been working on recently? What are CIG working on now? This is sort of a mixture of a summary of the monthly report, but also in context with what we know CIG are working on. The current focus is on features and testing for Alpha 3.8.2 and the next major patch, 3.9, though they are also working on 4.0 features. The quarterly plans are apparently locked in now, which should mean that CIG have worked out what is deliverable for the 3.9 patch with a greater accuracy, and also hopefully this means that we will see the roadmap updated for the rest of 2020 with 4.1 and 4.2 later this week or next week. 3.8.2 should be live by the end of February and bring with it various bug fixes as well as the Anvil Carrack. CIG have actually been working on the ship in vehicle spawns, so if that comes with 3.8.2, that would be great. We'll talk about it in a minute, actually. But let's take a look at what CIG have been working on over the last few weeks and what they're focused on now. And for the most part, it's that Alpha 3.9 patch, which is planned for the end of Q1 2020 or the end of March. So let's take a look at environments. They've been finalizing microtext moons and updating their geology assets for 3.9 to bring them sort of in line with the planetary tech v4. The moons will have some of the harshest environments in Stanton and will offer high-risk, high-reward opportunities for players daring enough to tackle them. This should be interesting gameplay with these new moons. There's lots of frozen sort of like oceans. Ocean tech in general is going to be used here. They've moved forward with that sort of ocean rendering stuff that they've got. Planet Tech V4 stuff and geology stuff, you're going to see better sort of assets and the way that they integrate with different surfaces and biomes, better visual quality for a lot of different stuff there. They've been messing with specific strength values for different locations with wind and a specific maximum wind strength per planet. With the bulk of the planetary tech V4 stuff now complete, they're looking into improvements to the organic shaders, enabling this to take advantage of physical-based shading. This will allow much wider reuse of assets as they will automatically adapt to the local biome that they're in, whether they be sort of like conforming to rock color, surface texture, sand and snow build-up, better looking planets, biomes, assets, all this sort of stuff is sort of like what they were going to get from the continued iteration on Planetary Tech V4. They are currently adding new effects to several new locations in the Stanton system. There is a focus on New Babbage, which is the microtech landing zone there, so the internals there are almost complete, with only a few additions and final polish to come. They also continue to work on modular space stations. The stations currently in game are known as Tier 0, so the first ever implementation of them, a concept to prove the feasibility of their design and the approach that they have with that, and procedural generation and how that's all working and can they get it working without bugs. More structured and easily navigatable layouts will be created along with procedural signage and other additions in the future. Work has been completed on improving the overall city lighting experience, especially during nighttime and when players are in transit, as well as making tweaks to color schemes and the feel of these sort of like landing zones and cities. Lorville's lighting has seen citywide glow added, previously used on ArcCorp, to help give the feeling of light pollution scattering in the atmosphere. Levski's exterior has seen updates as well, making better use of objects that are placed around. They are working on prisons and their associated features for 3.9. There are various new prison props. They finalised the oxygen and ore machinery there. A boxing ring was also completed that will allow for some much needed entertainment while inmates serve their time. The idea also being here, I believe, that it will allow you additional ways of earning merits by, bare knuckle boxing or whatever, which are required for your release or you escape. So earn merits to get released, or buy rent items, or use them to help you escape, or just escape. To aid you in prison, small stashes were hidden around that you should keep an eye out for if you want some extra supplies. A new anti-personnel turret was added though, and which we actually saw a sneak peek of last week. It was the Klesher automated prison turret, and it was a ceiling mounted turret, so be careful of those while you're in prison or trying to break people out or trying to help or do missions around that area. They'll initially be used as a deterrent in prisons. Players can expect to see them cropping up around the rest of the verse soon though. I'm hoping that we see them internal to some ships, special capital ships that have security security systems. Talking about ships, they are finalizing the art of the Asperia Prowler, which is now coming in 3.9. They are working on the white box of the Cutlass Blue as well. Hopefully that will then be shown on the roadmap for 4.0 or 4.1. The Anvil Carrack is also nearing completion and will be released by the end of February in the 3.8.2 patch, we assume. They are putting the final touches to the medical bay, cartography room, and cargo pods there. They are also tweaking the lighting and making a final polish pass. They're adding functionality for multiple cargo manifests per ship that will allow for more variety when collecting cargo from NPCs. Also, volatile cargo has been being worked on, so this cargo will be taken and then you'll need to take it to a kiosk quickly before it detonates inside your ship, is the idea, at least in its first iteration. I assume we will get like generally perishable goods and stuff like that in the future as well. They are finishing mining consumables, which once live will allow players to activate a consumable to make mining jobs easier or to correct mistakes. They give you more options for these like one-use items or a certain amount of use item. Feature-wise, they are improving radar and ping detection, including simplifying entity detection, reworking the AR marker system, and allowing low signature entities. They're also implementing vehicle-to-vehicle loadout spawning, which is what I was talking about earlier with the Carrack, which will enable players to store and spawn vehicles within the cargo bays of other vehicles. This could mean that we have this in 3.8.2 or more likely 3.9, but that's exactly what you want for ships like the Carrack, where you want the Pisces and the Ursa Rover to be in that ship already, or be able to be added through the Vehicle Manager app on the Moby class before you spawn it. Nice and simple, bam, great. They worked on sub-targeting improvements to allow players to specifically target weapons and turrets after fully scanning vehicles. Again, great. Subsystem targeting is really useful. I want to see how auto gimbals react to subsystem targeting. Are they really accurate on them, or do they shoot more in the general area? In which case, it's not going to be great to use auto gimbals for everything in the future, which is what I was hoping anyway. There is ongoing work to the SDF, the Sign Distance Field Shields. This will improve hit detections and effects, including extending shield gameplay to non-vehicle entities like turrets, buildings, and stations. Higher-level design work began around event-driven missions and content. Assumedly, this is part of the dynamic mission system and economy, and with that in mind, Tony Zerovic and co. also started work on deliverables for the new Quantum or Quanta editor, recently seen at CitizenCon, which helps the dynamic mission system and the economy, and is a huge part of Star Citizen being an MMO. Physical components, I think, are going to be worked on at some point in 2020, and with that in mind, resource distribution is another significant feature currently under development, and this is how resources are handled on ships or stations or whatever, power, heat, shields, CPU, etc. Planetary settlements, lots of things can use systems in the same way that a ship does. The ultimate aim here is to make the engineering role critical to larger ships or stations and allow attackers to take out or even sabotage components. So obviously physicalized components is incredibly important with that as well, and repair, all those sort of like gameplay elements coming together is something they've got planned for the future, and it sounds like something they've got planned for the reasonably near future. They've begun working on food systems for the actor status system. This will have players eating and drinking, and they've been sort of like working on food courts, getting them functional and that sort of jazz, I believe. AI and NPC stuff. So one of the most important things for Star Citizen is combat AI, and they've had improvements on the FPS cover generation and NPC cover usage for the AI. So AI now understand what is adequate protection and where to stand, where to crouch to make use of cover in combat. Shotgun wielding AI behaviors have been implemented, and AI will find more tactically advantageous positions when shooting. They're also able to change their speeds, move and fire, turn and fire without recalculating their pathing, which is obviously very useful. We don't want stuttery, sort of like derpy AI like we currently have in the game. Ship AI finalized the new 3D navigation systems. This uses a 3D pathfinding and collision avoidance system with the goal to make AI pilots fully aware of their physical environments. Each environment offers a different challenge though. In open space, pilots need to take into account asteroids, comet rays, space stations, and other ships. When flying close to a planetary surface, pilots need to also be aware of local terrain elevation and physical structures that don't belong to procedure-generated surfaces, such as rocks, buildings, refineries, and towers. The AI works out the most sensible path on the terrain and then tries to avoid ships and obstacles and uses the situation to its advantage. I'm interested to know how it's going to factor weather into things like this, and is it assumed that NPCs can just see freely through like storms, because obviously they're going to block the view of players to a large extent. but it's just an effect. So maybe the AI needs to have some interesting logic there in the future. Just a thought. They also prototyped a new AI system, tactical target selection. So mission requirements for the PU and Squadron 42 are getting more sophisticated, and the current selection system based on filters is not able to fulfill all the requested scenarios. So they've had to update a load of stuff there. The social AI guys are currently focusing on a bar location where players and NPCs can purchase bottles and draft drinks and ask the bartender to mix them a cocktail. So this is part of the expanding social system. They've talked about bartenders for quite a long time, but they're actually seem to be trying to get them out in the near future again. Players will be able to drink at a table, a booth, or at the bar itself. They are building characters and clothing to deform at runtime appropriately without artifacts as well for characters. They have also built some of the tools that they need to build complex rigs for alien races and animals in the persistent universe eventually. They have worked on NPC death reaction animations regarding actors and ragdoll body dragging. This was in addition to a big code cleanup for AI to make everything a bit more efficient. They've also actually worked on new experimental hair features, so this is going to see us lots of different hairstyles and lots of different sort of like hair colors and better looking hair, I suppose. FPS, weapons and gear wise, they've started on 2 new weapons, the lightning bolt sniper rifle and pistol. The character team are also currently texturing 2 outfits for microtech and wrapping up the tech implementation of 2 more with a focus on cold weather theming and variation. I believe this is the Novikov Expo and warm weather armors. They're also finalizing the Daria suit seen at citizencon. Do you think that's to do with the Calder brothers? Is that armor referencing the $46 million that they've put into the private investment into the game? Tell me in comments below if that's if Caldara, or however you pronounce that, if it could be that. That might make sense. How weird. There are new shops coming in Alpha 3.9 with new props and assets for new Babbage. They started converting the existing shop UI systems to the new building block tech, which will see much better HUDs and UIs, tactile interactions with buttons, panels, elevators, and screens, as well as improvements to the mobiGlass. We'll see this throughout 2020 get sort of like done in step. Backend and engine-wise, work for full and long-term persistence is continuing. They finished the advanced querying system for the iCache or item cache, which is a prerequisite for full persistence, and they defined the optimal way of working with the game server and the StarHash services. Changes were made to wallets and to hub servers, which will optimize the service to client traffic. They implemented concurrent immediate queuing for physics and optimized physics for high-level loads. They've been optimizing the job manager, which is required for entity component schedule improvements, and modifying it to run all component updates in batches. The responsiveness of the batch worker was also improved. There are physics threading and performance improvements too. This sees 30 CPU worker threads now supported. Currently, they overlap with the job system worker threads. Job workers are optimized for latency. Longer term, they plan to move the in-thread physics workload to the job system directly, which will require further changes to negate the potential for frequent stalls. So all of the stuff they're doing there is to generally improve the engine and the renderer and resources and efficiency and all that sort of jazz, so that the game works better. More frame rates, less stalls, less lag, more efficiency. They've also been working on Gen 12 renderer stuff and Vulkan work, fog improvements and optimizations were made, and yeah, that's really it for this month's update. We will look at Squadron 42's progress and updates in another video, but what do you think though? Are you excited for the Carrack being released later this month? Are you looking forward to Prison gameplay and Alpha 3.9 at the end of March? I wish they would give us a bit more of an indication of where Vulkan will sort of like land in the persistent universe, roadmap-wise, but maybe they will for 4.1 and 4.2. Are you disappointed by the progress that's being made? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. February 2020's giveaway is for a Cutlass Black and upgrade to a Cutlass Red as well, which you can apply separately, and a Star Citizen game package with that. So you don't need to own Star Citizen already. This is the full shebang. All you need to do to be in for a chance to win that is just comment on any of my videos made during this month. There are the full details in the description below. I'm a massive shill for a couple of services that you might find useful. NordVPN, they provide an affordable VPN service that provides many improvements over a free VPN. I use them. They have a huge range of servers, allowing you additional safety, security, and help you get access to content. It's usable while you're playing games or streaming or whatever. You can find the links down below, or use the code BoredGamer to get up to 70% off and an additional free month as well. There's ShadowTech as well. They are a subscription-based cloud gaming PC service, allowing you to stream a gaming PC environment to another device, meaning that you don't need to own a gaming PC or upgrade. You can stream to your phone, you can stream to a lesser PC or a laptop or whatever. They are planning some amazing 4K gaming systems for 2021, and there's a waiting list for them, but you can use their boost service, which is great for Star Citizen currently, and new accounts will activate in April for that. Right in time for Star Citizen now for 3.9. Again, links below, and use the code BoredGamer for discount. BoredGamer is a community-supported channel, and you can help by liking, subscribing, and sharing these videos, as well as sharing your feedback in the comments below, or even emailing me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk. There's loads of links below to all my sort of social medias and Discord servers and all that sort of jazz. Viewers that would like to go beyond that, there is Patreon and YouTube channel membership. The join button below the videos, that gives us extra money so that I can, you know, expand the channel and buy hardware and all that sort of jazz. It really does help. There are some bonuses and exclusives for those people as well, but I do want to make content for everyone regularly, so you are helping support that. Content for everyone! Woo! Thank you so much for watching. I wish you good fortune for February and in the verse.